everybody, my name is Shani Jones and this is KNKY, which stands for Know the New Kinky You. I am your resident certified sex coach, and today we are here to ask a very, very important, vital question. Is sex the same without oral? So, before I start, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bells so that you get all of these wonderful videos as soon as they are available to you. I would love to hear your comments, so don't forget to comment and share, and follow me across all social media at DOYOUKNKY. So, the question at hand is sex the same without oral? So, I think we all know what oral sex is, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of define it, just so we're all on the same page. So when we're talking about cunnilingus, cunnilingus is oral sex on the vagina, eating somebody out. And if we're talking about fellatio, fellatio is oral sex on the penis. You're like, I would do it better than that, but you know, talking about hand jerk. Then we're talking about analingus. Analingus is oral sex of the anus. This is where we're talking about tossing your salad or getting your ass eaten out and all those other great things. It's basically the use of your mouth, which includes your lips and your tongue, to sexually stimulate the genitalia. And the genitalia is defined as the vagina and the anus and the penis, but I would beg to argue that, you know, your nipples and pretty much your whole body can be an extension of your genitalia, because when your mouth is used to sexually stimulate your body, it just has a connection right to your genitalia. So, oral sex. So, not everyone is into oral sex. I know it's probably hard to believe, but there are some people that just aren't into it. And if that's the case, then you have to be creative and find other ways to sexually stimulate that person. I will say it's going to probably be harder for women, because the majority of our sexual nerve endings are inside of our clitoris. So even if you don't like oral sex, if you use manual stimulation or use a vibrator, you'll achieve a similar feeling because of the stimulation, but that contact of body on body is missing. So again, if you are a person who doesn't enjoy oral sex, you have to be creative in finding other ways to either stimulate the arousal response, or which is basically figuring out how to turn them on, or just figure out, you know, maybe use your hand, maybe use another type of device. You know, figure out what they like. Basically, open your mouth, figure out what they like. Oral sex is not a prerequisite for sex, so it's not required. Is it a plus? Yes. You know, at least for the people that enjoy it, you know, it's a plus. You know, I have a friend who said during this whole group conversation that we were having, it was like, you know, you can come and perform oral sex, but if you don't bring the D, it's a waste of time. So oral sex as part of a sexual experience, but not the sexual experience for some people. So, you know, you can probably the other way, you know, go in straight with the D, and then for some people oral sex is just not going to be that important. Or you could be like, wait a minute, we just going straight at it, there's nothing that's gonna happen. Okay, so good oral sex, because again, not all oral sex is good. Oral sex is a skill. You have to learn it. And we talked about penis size, and I'm not going to say, a little bit of a stutter, I'm not going to say that it's not a stereotype, it's not a generalization, but men who feel that they are smaller in size tend to spend a little bit more time in the oral area so that they can, you know, help to promote that good experience. So oral sex can build that arousal and that anticipation for just the act, if you're not my friend who says bring the D, or it can, you know, it can lead to orgasm by itself. It doesn't have to follow up with sex, but a lot of times it's a part of the package. It's a part of that foreplay package. Again, the clitoris, which is only this much visible from the vulva area, looks like a little wishbone and has 8,000 nerve endings, and its sole purpose is for sexual stimulation. So keep that in mind. On the male penis, the underside has what you call the frenulum, and the frenulum is one of the most sensitive parts of the male penis. So it's at the head, on the underside, especially if you're circumcised, you can kind of see where that skin met, then that's your frenulum. So that part is very sensitive, and if you are giving fellatio, then that is like perhaps an area that you want to concentrate on. And again, when you're talking about oral sex styles, you have to either feel around or ask for feedback. So for instance, remember we talked about these transferable skills. You could eat Shanae's pussy and she feels great and wonderful, and you can she comes every time. You could take that same skill set and take it over to Nancy, and Nancy's like, what is this? I don't like this at all. So whether it's a suck or a twirl or a flick or the use of hands plus mouth, and same thing for guys, whether it's, you know, you want a single hand stroke, a double hand stroke, you want concentration on your head versus your balls, or, you know, do you want to be squozed tightly, or do you want to be a little loose? Do you want straight up and down, or do you want, those are things that you learn through practice, or you open up your mouth and say, hey, do you mind doing it this way? You know, closed mouths don't get fed. Understood. All right, so it's all about practicing and mastering your technique for the person or persons that you are with. So just keep that in mind. You could come into the gate knowing how to drive, but if you grew up driving a manual car, a stick shift, and then somebody says, oh, the automatic is just so much easier to drive that, you still are driving like you're driving a stick. You still have to learn how to drive the automatic. So I like metaphors. So don't know if you guys have seen this. If you have seen this, again, feel free to comment. There was a video, and I'm not the best with social media, but I think it was a TikTok video where it was a bunch of girls that went around to the boyfriends or the husbands, and they stood in front of them and they put their hair back in a ponytail and then dropped to their knees, and the guys automatically assumed that they were about to get some head, and each one of these girls reached under the place where the dude was sitting and grabbed something, grabbed a remote, grabbed a shoe, grabbed a something, and the disappointment on the dudes' faces was, it was pretty hilarious. But that's not a nice thing to do, ladies, because you knew what you were doing. Most people enjoy oral sex. Most people want to have that connection with a partner where they get to spend that time together and, you know, just enjoy, you know, receiving. You know, if you decide to do 69 and, you know, whatever else to kind of spice it up, oral sex is an option. If you're not good at it or you want to get better at it, there are ways to do that. It's a skill set. But again, it's going to take you to open your mouth to say what you like versus what you don't like, what feels good versus what doesn't feel good. So I want to close on this because this is a long debated question, and I'm not going to give you my answer because this is something that I have gone back and forth with my friends for years. And yeah, I'm not going to give you my answer. When performing oral sex on a man, when performing fellatio on a man, are the balls automatically included every time? Do you have to suck the balls in order to have given quality head? I need to know. So, thank you for spending this time with me. See you on the next video, and I hope that you've learned a bit more about the new kinky year. See you next time.